Well, we should be on our way in.
Hello, hello.
Good evening, all. So, I haven't even showed Tiger this yet, but something came for you.
Oh, pretty.
I haven't even set it up yet. I've sat and looked at it, and I decided I was gonna vape it before it got sent off. So I'll set it up tonight.
Oh yeah.
It is fully adjustable.
Oh yeah, you absolutely have to.
We were wondering if the center pin was going to be fully adjustable, and it is. It does have the two-piece center pin, same as the original. So I'm just going to grab an atomizer here. But pretty impressed with the quality on it. It does look pretty good. It is brass contacts in a stainless body. Now the threading is a little loose on the lock. I'm used to the lock on my brass one's very tight. The lock, I guess it's not a lock. It's the air control. Is a little loose on this thing. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those. It is. Now, before I even put a battery in it, I'm going to do my typical Chi-Yu modification, and it's getting an O-ring. You'd think by now I'd have the tray marked, so I know which one is the right one.
Well, I am just discovering some problems with Justin chat tonight. I usually connect through IRC for ease, and I can see you guys posting at VapeStrong.ca, but the IRC is not working at all. I'm hoping this is a temporary problem. And how's the music level, folks? Give us a little feedback. Music is perfect, says Jason. Okay.
Good. I know it's loud in my ears.
Yeah, here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins in every line. Throw them up and let something shine. Going out of my fucking mind. Filthy mouth, no excuse. Find a new place to hang this noose. String me up from atop these roofs.
Alright, well, let's see what I can do about popping out this chat. Hopefully there's another way to do this.
Someone pour it in. Make it a dirt dance floor again. Saying prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away.
Now, I don't know if this thing would keep up really well to the super sub-ohm vaping. Like, I got a 0.45 ohm atomizer on here right now, and it's hitting good, but not brass mod good. But the button is smooth. It's got the right tension to it. It feels nice in the hand. It feels very nice in the hand. Maybe the best quality clone I've laid my hands on yet.
Well, that's got me really curious, because they did look great in the pictures, but the one that came out today looks deadly in the pictures.
They're better than the pictures. The pictures
Awesome.
had the bottom stamping out of alignment. The bottom stamping is out of alignment, but very minimal. I'll show you with the cam UC, and then I'll show everybody else. But like the stamping is just out, but not by much. And the spelling is correct. It does say Stylo Mojo version .2013. The symbol looks correct, and the serial number is just all 8s. So I think that's as close as a clone can get. I wish they would have left the serial number blank. No serial number at all, so there'd be no confusion that this is a clone, not an original. You know, I'm cool with them copying the design after it's been out that long, but not so close, because I've got 2 of the real ones and a 3rd one on the way. It's one of those, it might be too close. Well, see, the numbers are smaller on this one, and they're a more normal typeset, not a square type. So the numbers themselves are a different style. I don't know. It's really close.
Well, D-Vapor 171, in my hand so far for the show is the little Chi-Yu clone with the AGT on top.
Bagua clone.
And, yes, thank you. It's been that kind of day. It's a clone of something and it's little. Yes, Bagua clone. And I kind of like this setup. It's just so tiny and it works good.
The lock ring and air control is aluminum, Jay. You are correct there. And there is no air control holes drilled. Whereas the real one has the 3 air control holes drilled, the clone does not have those air control holes. At least not that I've found yet. Oh shit, they are there. They're just lower. But they're quite a bit lower.
Okay.
You know, it won't replace my real ones, but I had to try. I had to see it. I had to play with it.
Yeah.
Now, the one I actually brought in for myself, it is the Bagua clones. And here's my reasoning behind it. I am looking to put together a starter kit. I want to put together a giveaway starter kit that does not include ego batteries, because I hate egos. And so I wanted to come up with a mechanical mod that I could put a decent set of protected batteries with and a pro tank, and have that as a giveaway device. Give away the device, the battery, the charger, the whole 9 yards together. And so that's what I've been working towards with the Baguas, is be able to do exactly that. Now I need to grab something here that's not stupid low resistance. I don't like putting really low resistance to an 18350 battery. I've never had an 18350 go on me, and I don't want to be a statistic. You know, call me crazy, but I really don't want to be a statistic.
What's the lowest resistance you would do in a build for an 18350 mod?
0.9.
Okay. Because I've got the AGT running at 1 on the nose, and I was meaning to ask you if that was pushing the envelope.
Like I don't really know where the limit is. My comfort zone ends at 0.9 on them. There's going to be others
And
out there
related,
that are going to be willing to go much lower than that. But I think that leaves me a lot of safety room.
that leads me to another question. I'm aware the Poldiac has a low resistance kit for it, replacement parts. At what point do you need that?
I'm not really sure, but mine's in Saskatoon waiting for me to pick it up. Now
Nice.
that low resistance kit is just replacing the thermal plastics with more of a ceramic based plastic. And I think all we're trying to do is that it can handle the heat of an extreme low res better without distortion. It's not changing any of the contacts or the switch or anything. It's just changing the plastic carrier for the switch.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't need that because I finally built one of my T2s to a sub-ohm build. This one is running at 0.8 now. I am loving the vape, but I was wondering, there's nothing going on warm at the top of the mod, so I'm not too worried about it. But
like I've been vaping down to 0.4 on my Poldiacs, and I've never had a Poldiac get hot other than the very top connector. I do have, because I flush mount everything on a Poldiac, I have had the very top cap get hot, but I've never had it transfer down through the mod.
okay. Well, I won't worry about this then. I don't vape probably extreme low enough to worry about it. Hey Ghost World, welcome. You guys will have to forgive me a little tonight. I'm using a different chat client now to follow the chat. Justin's having some problems. So if we seem to be ignoring you, we're not. Just repeat the question.
Oh no, Jay, if you get used to using brass mods, you will get used to heat transference. And it's not really a flaw. It just is. If we gap our atomizer just a hair above the deck on the mod, we don't have as much heat transference. But well, the brass chi isn't bad because it's got so much meat up on top of it. But let's say like the Astro. The Astro does transfer a pile of heat down from the top brass connector, as well as some of the clones that have less deck height transfer the heat down into the body rather quickly. Now, the Chi has been pretty good that way. The Paps or the Lux transfers heat very rapidly. And I think that's because it's Alumabrass. So it has the heat transferring abilities of aluminum as well, which is, phenomenal. But, it's not a big deal. Like, it's only going to get hot when you're chain vaping it, extremely low res on fresh batteries. And, like, I do mean chain vaping, like a 5 mil drip session on 0.5 ohm. Like, and then it's still not so hot you can't hold on to it or you're worried about your battery. You seriously feel it, it's getting warm. And you do the vapors test where you put the mod up to your cheek to see if it's just your hand or the mod, and it's hot.
That's funny how we all naturally get there. I've done that. And of course, you're talking about heat transference top down from the heat of the atomizer. We're talking about a different thing. Vapors talk to me about their switch, especially bottom switches getting hot. That's a different problem. Your contacts are probably dirty, and you need to open that up and do a little bit of cleaning. A pencil eraser, Corey has suggested to me, and that works just deadly. It just cleans off all of that muck off of the contacts just beautifully, and you know, with no abrasion.
If you don't even have that available to you, newspaper. Newspaper will work. It won't work as well, but it will work. And so, like,
excellent.
As long as you keep them clean so they never get really gross, you should never need to use sandpaper or anything that aggressive on your contacts. You know, that little Bagua isn't a bad little vape. You know, it is a fairly simple setup. The button has a little bit of play in it, but it's smooth.
Now the only complaint, and it's not an unsolvable problem, I did take your advice. I don't think I did it enough because it's still happening for me. The one complaint I've had with it is with the switch. The switch there, you can see the nut on the top. The nut has a tendency to loosen or tighten, and I've found when it loosens, my switch is coming down too far. There's looseness. The locking ring isn't effective because it can't reach far enough. So why don't you want to share again what your fix for that was for folks who are experiencing the same thing?
Well, and see, I say it begrudgingly. What my fix is for that. Because you can cause damage doing it. I burr the threads.
Okay.
If I have something that has threads that are too loose, I will use the edge of a screwdriver and I will lay over a line of thread. Just gently, just burr the threads, and that gives some resistance to the nut going on, and it holds its place. Now, it's one of those, you know, buyer beware things. It's very easy to do it too much and damage the threads. Well, I can answer that for my own self, Max. I have a buttload of VW and VV devices, and they really don't get used at all. And it is all about the sub-ohm. It's all about the high wattage vaping. There are very few variable devices out there that can do 30 watts. And if you find that your happy place is in that extreme heat on a rebuildable, you've got no choice but mechanical or custom built VV.
You'll find that most VV mods will refuse to fire anything that's below 1.3 ohms.
Now, in the defense of those designers, when you're talking variable power, you do not need to be sub-ohm anymore, because you can just turn the power up to hit your wattage numbers. But almost all devices are limited in between 12 and 20 watts, depending on the device. You know, that seems to be, you know, where the limit lays. For me, 20 watts is the very minimum of my comfort zone. You know, that's just so touching the edge of where I'm happy vaping. So, you know, like 15 watts just doesn't cut it for me.
Congratulations,
Wayne.
That's a big milestone.
And so, like, I have variable power devices that allow me to vape, you know, exactly how I want to. But as I said before, they were custom built, and they are, you know, beyond rare. Now, that's not saying that you know, people couldn't build more of them, Well, you need more watts available to make sub-ohm worth the while, Max. And, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If you've got variable power and it hits into the range you're happy with, I would say just don't bother doing sub-ohm. Build it at 1.5 to 2.5 and just turn the wattage to where you're happy. Once again, it's a personal take on how you like to vape. For myself, dripping, anywhere from 0.4 to 0.7 of an ohm, depending on what the juice is. And I like my batteries fresh, and I like brass mods so they hit hard. And that's just me, you know. But I'm a sub-ohm vaping retard, as most people would so kindly put it.
I prefer to use the term an extreme vapor's extreme vapor.
The thing is, there's so many people following suit that, you know, it's no longer considered crazy or abnormal. You know, 6 months ago, when there was only a handful of us on Facebook that were, you know, seriously pushing the sub-ohm, everybody thought we were crazy. And now, maybe a third of those that thought we were crazy have joined us, and there's no looking back.
Well, on that subject, the new trend now is the microcoils, and I'm still a little fuzzy on how and why they work the way they do. Are you up to talking about those a little bit?
I will
my understanding,
admit my
and this
knowledge
could
isn't
be
as good as it should be on them. I'm still running my very first one. Now, go ahead with what you were saying.
Well, my question was, I've been told that, you know, the coils are touching. Now, that just breaks my mind because that was exactly what we learned not to do, learning to build. But the theory being that they're designed to be shorting out. Is that a correct handle
exactly
on the idea? Okay.
If you took, okay, I've got a microcoil here made with 26 gauge. That it's 14 wraps of 26 gauge.
Wow.
If I was to separate it, it would be about 2.8, 2.9 ohms. But it's like 0.65 of an ohm when everything's together and touching. And then I am running that on a variable voltage device just to maintain a 4.5 volt output.
Now, my next question would be, like, with all those coils touching, you've created kind of a solid mass there with your wick underneath. Are we not finding that juice tends to gunk up under there and not maybe vape clean off of the coil?
Well,
or is it dependent on flavor to a great extent?
They're self-cleaning. And it all depends on how you are forming your wick. Like, I don't have any wick underneath my coil. I always use a gravity-fed wick. And so my wick is always above my coil, and it seems to feed fairly well. And it's... Give me 100 mils of testing, and I'll know what it does compared to a standard build. But right now we're only about 30 mils into this build, and so far it's working quite well. Now I'm pushing it with a buttload of power, so it's never having a problem pushing through whatever is there.
And the microcoil, is that strictly a dripper style build, or is that something you can do on a Jenny?
I've never heard of it being done on a Jenny.
Yeah.
And I won't be the first one to try it. I'd like to hear others doing it first and seeing what they did to do it, because you know as well as I do, I hate dry hits. And I don't want to cause myself dry hits.
Alrighty, well, maybe I'll have to pull out the 26 gauge wire and give that a shot this week.
I wouldn't start with 26.
Oh, okay.
I'd start with 28 or 30. 26 is no bloody fun. I had to use 2 pairs of needle nose pliers, and I formed it around the syringe.
Okay. Max, that is in fact a ridiculously huge mod. Corey is in excess of 6 feet tall. That is the Destroyer.
This is a number 1 of 10 variable voltage dual 26700 device that is capable of doing up to 35 watts of output power. Now, for reference, well, let's throw it up beside a Chi-Yu. Here's a full-size Chi-Yu in 18650 mode.
The first time I saw that, I said it had 2 business ends. One end vapes and the other end is for crowd control.
And it is the second most powerful variable voltage device I've ever had my hands on. The Vaping Bible still has this thing beat for power, because it can do 15 amps of output.
Yeah, that is a custom. A lot bigger than the 134.
This is a Motor City Mods SR Destroyer, and this is number 1 of 10, and it is no longer made. The first 2 were made for me and for Uncle Dagger, special request, and then 8 more followed it after that.
Ghost World, you'd need a bigger purse, and you'd need to start working out and get that shoulder in really good shape, because I would imagine that would get tiring.
But as variable voltage goes, this thing's in a league of its own. And it is nice, like you can literally go all day and not even have to think about your batteries. But it is insanely large and quite heavy. Now, that's a loaded question, Max, because it changes from week to week. If I'm dripping, hands down, currently, my favorite is the Nimbus. Just 'cause it's so easy to dual coil. Up till that point, it had been the ERA. I do really enjoy the ERA, as well as the Cyclone. And if it comes to a Jenny, I don't know if I could pick my favorite. It's gonna come in between the Steam Turbine and the Cobra. They're both in my daily rotation, both the Steam Turbine and the Cobra. And which one
now
is more favorite, I don't know anymore.
And now, just to avoid confusion, Corey, there is another atomizer that's being sold as a Cobra. It is not the Cobra. It has nothing to do with the atomizer you're talking about.
Yeah, the one from e-cig Gator. that was originally sold as the Mongoose that looks like it did, that is not a Cobra.
Yeah.
The Cobra comes from Alba Vapors. It's titanium. I think it's also available from Finiac.
Yeah.
Now, Kingpin, it's all debatable. This juice starts black in here, so, you know, this one's always dark. Now, ones like the steam turbine does not darken for me. It stays very nice and light. And here's my theory, and it's only a theory. I have no empirical evidence at all. But the smaller the wick hole, the tighter I have to roll my wick, the less juice gets carried through the center of the wick that gets scorched and goes back down into the tank. Now that is my theory on why a Jenny darkens rapidly. That if your wick is rolled tighter, you know, as in less straw effect, more wick effect, that it won't darken the tank near as fast. But I have zero knowledge, you know, I have zero study to back that up. Just looking at my collection of Jennies, and the ones that get dark the fastest have big wicks. The ones that stay nice and clear are tight wicks. I don't oxidize the mesh, V-Vapor.
How's tomorrow, Wayne? Is tomorrow soon enough for you?
Probably not. Wayne's got that itch in his buy it now finger. My current favorite wick max across the board is 325 stainless cut on a diagonal and rolled loose. Now I've played with putting silica down the center core. I've played with putting cotton down the center core. I've played with wire rope down the center core. I've played with just wire rope. Everything from 270 all the way up to 600 mesh. And my favorite currently is 325. And I like it very hollow.
Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings.
Now, XC116, that is the Echo Wall, right?
Trying to hold on, didn't even know I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end.
Okay, that's the one that's not allowed to be exported.
Yeah, I got a bag of it here. It works.
Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property. Remembering all the times you fought with me, I'm surprised it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't
Yeah, it's very high quality. Now the stuff I had was not kiln, so I hit it with a very large torch and brought it cherry red several times before I used it. It wicked well, but I like 1 mil silica. You know, my favorite dripper build is on 1 mil silica, so the stuff I have is 3 mil, and right there it fails for me because I like a different style dripper. It did work. It worked quite well, just not for my style of build. Now,
Now,
as...
that does.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, no. If you're, I'm changing the subject, so you finish.
Well, I was going to say about the stainless steel mesh giving off chemicals or gases. I work in a welding shop. I've spent my entire adult life as either a welder or a machinist. And I have no empirical proof that it's safe or that it's unsafe. But I do know that whatever I'm doing with it is a hell of a lot safer than what I'm breathing in 10 hours a day at work. So I just go with it. And I don't think that our atomizers get anywhere near the temperature that people think they do when they're under use. Well, yeah, you can use silica in a Genesis, and it won't darken the juice because it doesn't flow back down. It does a little bit, but not like a hollow straw style stainless steel mesh does. You know, at the end of the day, so much of what we do is so new that there is no real knowledge of, you know, what the best choice is, what the safest choice is. Well, I had mixed results with the rope. My first few attempts were horrible. I never got a dry hit, but I never got a satisfying hit either. And then I wrapped the rope with like 3 wraps of 325 mesh and had it fairly loose at the top, and then wrapped my coil directly onto it instead of doing a Peter K. And that one is running phenomenally well. Like it'll wick straight up and down. But when I went to repeat it, the repeat of it doesn't work near as good as the original. So I've got some learning to do yet to be able to get it where it's as perfect as just a quick stainless mesh is for me. And no, I didn't go over the whole rope. I left maybe 3/8 of an inch of rope exposed at the bottom, so that the juice would have a lot easier time getting at all levels of my wick. Unlike some, I did not cut it, you know, right at the deck. I wanted the wick down inside. Besides, there's a modified Jenny with a huge wick there. Now feel free to change the subject.
No, actually, you answered the question I was going to bring up, so we were on the same page. All good.
I need to start labeling Jennies so I know which build is in which Jenny. I have a dozen AG8 T2s. So I used to keep track by what mod it was on. And then I've kind of done a mod shuffle lately, and nothing's where it's supposed to be, and I'm lost. Like, I'm going to have to tear stuff apart just to be able to find where everything is. I hope there's a glass wick coming. For the Jenny, I would like to see a medical grade Pyrex type glass tube around the stainless steel rod, and have that outer level of the glass grooved both up and down and cylindrical, like almost like threading, so that the juice has tracks to travel upwards on, that it would fit snug in the wick hole. but it would still have those grooves for the juice to travel up through, and that it would be formed at the top, that the coil actually wrapped right into grooves on the wick. That's what I would like to see. It's not something I could ever produce. I know nothing about glass at all, but I think it'd be pretty cool to have, you know, a custom-made wick that was right there. You run the wire in the grooves that are right there, done deal, and just vape. Well, I definitely think it would work. It's just to find the right person to be able to give the design to and have it produced, so that you at least have a working sample. You know, it's one of those things that's way over my head to be able to produce. Now, it does amaze me that, you know, when I was a smoker, I never stopped and thought about how bad cigarettes were for me. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to go there because I needed that next cigarette. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I needed that next one. Now that we know we've made a healthier choice, we just beat the subject to death. You know, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a negative. But, you know, how many years did each of us spend, you know, not even wanting to talk about the subject? You know, just give me my cigarettes and fuck off already. And it's one more of the changes that each has undergone in this process of going from smoker to vapor.
Yep, I hear you, KP.
You know, I spent years in those production shops blaming the air quality in the shop for my smoker's cough and asthma, and, you know, generally feeling like shit and not able to run anymore. And, you know, I helped coach a novice hockey team a few years ago, and that just about killed me. You know, throwing the skates on and doing practices just about ended me. And, you know, I played AA hockey. I went to college and played hockey. Like, it was a way of life. But it was always blamed on the shop, always on the shop. And then, well, you know, I really can't change professions because of what I make, and I don't really have an education, and this, that, and the next thing. 3 weeks after I tossed my cigarettes, my smoker's cough left and never came back. The wind power of my lungs. You know, I can go jogging now, and I don't feel like I'm gonna die. I'm not, you know, not going 3 blocks and tasting blood already and feeling like shit. It was quite an improvement without a whole lot of change.
It's been a while since I could.
Yeah. I used to lay down to sleep at night, and for the first 10 to 20 minutes, you were busy sort of clearing your lungs and wheezing. The very first day, no word a lie, that I vaped instead of smoked, I had 1 cigarette that morning and then vaped the rest of the day. I lay down to sleep, and it took me a sec to realize that I was completely comfortable and not wheezing. Day 1. The cough cleared over the course of probably the next week and a half, and no looking back.
Yeah,
Well, cotton has
way too
benefits
hot
and
for cotton.
drawbacks. Yeah, that's it. You can scorch it. There's no such thing as torching your build clean to change flavors. Some people are convinced it gives a cleaner flavor. There is a little bit of flavor that comes off the silica, especially on a new build. But it's such a subjective thing. You've got to find what works best for you.
I find cotton has a far longer break-in point. For myself, I get a funny taste off cotton way longer than I do off silica. And with silica, now that I torch my builds, as soon as I'm done making them, I don't even have that taste at the first firing.
Yeah.
You know, I'll build it,
and I would agree.
I just burn the hell out of it with a micro torch.
Yeah, I would agree. Torching the builds ahead of time has changed it. It's much better.
See, I haven't really experienced muted flavor in any rebuildable. I get better flavor out of certain designs than others. But as long as my coil is good, I get a good vape. Now, it depends on the build how good it is. And there's a sweet spot of how much mesh or silica to be using compared to your coil size, coil width, and then how tight you're pulling your coil on your wick, dependent on which side of wicking it is. If your wick has to draw off from the bottom up, that coil needs to be loose so it doesn't choke the wick. If you're gravity feeding wick above the coil, that coil has to be pulled tight so it does choke the wick, so it holds the juice up above instead of letting the juice all run down to the coil and then drip into the bottom of the atomizer. And it won't hold the juice up there all day, but it'll hold it up there for a good drip session without having to turn the thing around and re-wet the wick. Now, it does give you some problems using like a juice catcher or a gravity fed wick. If you leave it sit on your desk for a day or 2 days and you forget that when you pick it up you're gonna have to flip it on its side and rotate it a couple times to re-wet the wick, I lost my train of thought thanks to KP. But with a gravity-fed wick, you got to be a little more careful of making sure your wick is wet, because with one that lifts the juice only has one place to go, and that's down. And so you're always going to wick in the liquid. Whereas if it's a gravity-fed, if that wick drips dry, you could still have a pile of juice in the addy and get a dry hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have used both the readily available and the non-shippable Echo Wool, and for my vaping style, I'm just not a fan. Now, if I could get 1 mil to test out with, I could change my opinion almost instantly, because my favorite wick is 1 mil, and then I use 8 layers of it to build my juice catcher. One millimeter silica laid over top of itself a total of 8 times, and then it just builds a continuous loop. Wrap your coil in the center, take your loops from both sides, bring them up to the top, take a piece of wire through it, hold it over, twist it tight, and it puts a bulb of silica above your coil, and so it gravity feeds your coil at all times.
That reminds me, I was going to ask when we can look forward to your YouTube how-to on that.
We are getting closer.
Oh, good.
I did go and buy a little video camera last week. So I have one less excuse now.
Well, you know, I know in all that spare time you have, wasn't going to bug you, but I went looking for a video to refer someone to this week, and it was like, Corey should have one.
Well, it's when my request for the 48-hour day gets approved, we're going to have a lot more time to get stuff done.
And Ghost World, keep coming to the shows and asking questions, because, you know, it would be really great if we could all have a Corey to build our coils for us, but better yet, utilize all that knowledge, and if he can teach me to do it, I'm sure he can teach anybody in this room.
Well, at the end of the day, like, they're not super difficult. You need to be able to see what you're doing. And like when I started rebuilding, I went and bought 2 sets of helping hands with the big magnifying glass on them. Soldering, like a hobby tool or soldering tool, whatever you want to call it. Where it's got the alligator clips and then the magnifying glass. And I also bought reading glasses. And I found the reading glasses worked really well. I bought 3 different pairs of reading glasses at the dollar store. Cost me a whopping $3. And now I couldn't even tell you where they are. They're on my they're up on my top monitor shelf somewhere. But I haven't used
mine
it
are handy.
I don't need to see. What
I'm doing I need them every time. Well, I'm not quite there. No, I rely on these. Absolutely.
Let me see if I
welcome
can find
to the
a
room.
helping hands to show you. I know I have a few of them here. Let me see the shelving unit here.
No turning back this time. This is my new design. Sometimes I feel so.
I got a bad feeling that I put them all out in the garage now that I don't use them anymore. Let's see if I can grab you an image online.
I did, Rich. I was trying to be all subtle about it the first time.
What you doing to me could have been you so easily. You looked the other way, even though we were close the other day. And I'm still trying to get up this hill. I need you just like a pill. I've never felt this way before. I've never come so close. I've never.
So that is a soldering helping hands right there.
Stepping out instead of closing in. Left myself behind when I made up my mind.
And that's what I started with doing my rebuilds. And I was using the little alligator clips to hold the silica. And then I could wrap the coil in between while looking through the magnifying glass. And I went from that to just the reading glasses. And then just went to no reading, no magnification at all.
I think you're at the point you could probably rebuild them in the dark.
It wouldn't be the first time. But it all comes down to experience. Like, I've been rebuilding for over a year and going hard at it that entire time. I buy every rebuildable that I can afford to buy, which means I've got a buttload of them. And we just go with it. I don't have all the answers, but I do try very hard to, if I don't have the answer, to be able to get it, and get it within a timely fashion. I also know guys that are fly fishermen that are using their fly tying jigs. for building their coils and having very good luck with it. I'm not a fly fisherman. I don't have a fly tying tool, but I did find the helping hands quite useful starting out.
Well, it's funny, Vapor Kitty. You have these other hobbies, and sometimes you don't put two and two together, but when you start to, you find out just how handy some of your other tools are. I'm a sewer, so I have a sewing awl, and now I have to get a new one for my sewing because the end is charred and slightly bent from becoming a vape tool. It's just an invaluable vape tool. And, you know, crochet hooks. They make great drill bit replacements for Peter K method for doing your coils. Actually, on.
If you have a good enough selection of them, they're not a replacement for the drill bits. The drill bits are a poor substitute for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because how smooth they are and how the quality of finish on them, I get my best coils done off of crocheting hooks. The absolute best coils are off the crochet hook, and I'm not embarrassed to say.
And they've always got that flat portion in the center that's just the perfect handle, so it doesn't spin while you're trying to work. And
now,
yeah, and when you're done making your coil, you can make an Afghan.
Yeah, I can't crochet to save my life, but I do old crochet hooks for vaping. But yeah, for rebuilding, I would say that the helping hands is as big a help in the whole rebuilding world as the Vapor's #1 tool. And I honestly don't own a Vapor's tool. I'd have to go looking on my wife's desk downstairs to find a paper clip and then straighten it out. But your #1 tool in vaping is a paper clip. Now, I use high tensile stainless steel welding wire instead of paper clips, but you know, you use what you have. I got a buttload of welding wire, so that's what I use. I just cut it into lengths. I got a box full of it up on top of my desk. But your most important tool, as stupid as it sounds, is a paper clip. Paper clip, fingernail clipper, a pair of tweezers, and a couple of small jeweler screwdrivers, and you should be able to rebuild just about anything in existence.
What kind of info are you looking for on the Nemesis clone? From what we're seeing, it looks like a pretty impressive clone. Very nicely built, right down to silver contacts in it. Well, we're not going to know until people have them in their hands. But, you know, if the pictures are any indication, and at the top of the show we were talking about the Bagua clones, and you know, I was pretty impressed with this. Then we got on to the Chi-Yu clones, and Corey was saying that he's convinced the Chi-Yu, you know, exceeds what the pictures show. So, yes, I did Ghost World. I wasted no time. I'll admit it.
Now, I'm a collector, so the clones will never replace the main parts of my collection and my daily vapes. But what the clones do is they let me have a decent mechanical vape at work without risking a Poldiak or a Chi. And, you know, they're good. You know, compared to what we were doing a year ago, even the poor clones are better than what we were vaping high-end a year ago. You know, with a few exceptions, you know, being like the Poldiak. But, you know, they're good. They're not a collectible item. They're a day in, day out.
Fasted. The difference is often in the craftsmanship and the attention to detail.
And materials.
When you've... Okay, and materials used. You know, I can't really complain about the threading on some of the stuff I've gotten lately, but I've received mods where the threading is absolutely abysmal. Just horrendous. And that comes from, you know, poor materials and speed in mass producing. When you've got, you know, craftsmen building these things one at a time, you know, hand turning things, you can't replicate that in China mass production. I think at a lot of...
I'll give China their due. They're listening, and they're doing much better than they had before. And I say that with a grain of salt, because, you know, for me, Sigelli has been one failure after another, after another, after another, after another. And so, you know, we can't say everything coming out is good. There's a ton of shit. But good or bad, the clones are getting better.
And Jason has a good point. You know, you can buy a low-end car, you can buy a high-end car. They're both going to get you from point A to point B. It's in the details. I think in some cases too, the clones are. I mean, there's a lot of uproar at times about them. I think they can be a good thing. If I hadn't had the chance to use clone mechanicals and find out I like that style of vape, I wouldn't have been interested in high end. And you know, I thank Corey and Joe, but you know, now I'm the owner of a Poldiak, and this is the cat's pajamas. I got to tell you, but I would never have started here.
And see, I would like to see them, instead of putting the effort into cloning, into actually producing their own mods. You know, that said, like, some of the pricing has gone completely out of line. And, you know, maybe this corrects itself. I don't know.
Well, you raise a good point, because, you know, Poldiak's one of the ones that you won't hear me complain about, because if someone wants one, they can go to Vapers, they can order it right now. But some of these ones that are unicorns and, you know, they're just so hard to get your hands on, you've got to wait on a list for months, and that's if you're lucky enough to get on the list. Well, I can get a clone today.
Well, and see, Joe, I'm starting to think that the same on some of them. Now, some of them not so much. But they've raised their game. They're doing a much better quality product at the same or lower price that they used to. So here's a start, 1 to 50. This is for 25 bottles of juice from CEV store. I believe it's Major Vapes line. So it'll be one of everything. Let me just change this quickly. I moved there. But it will be 25 bottles. All we're going to need is your address and your NIC level. And that is from CEV. No, like I said before, I really do wish that some of the producers of the clones would make their own more, because then I don't feel guilty adding that China device into my repertoire.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that others need to feel guilty about doing it, but as a collector, I do feel bad, grabbing a $20 mod off my desk and walking out the door instead of grabbing a $250 one, because I got to be able to justify the $250 one to the wife. And I'm not giving up my expensive ones. It's not happening.
The numbers are slowing down. This is for 25 bottles of Major Vapes from CEV. You want to get a number in for this, that's for sure. Really nice sampler. Get to try a little of everything.
I just want to talk to somebody, before I buy a Magneto, I want to talk to somebody that vapes low res and runs a Magneto, and make sure the switch doesn't get hot.
What did I say, Tiger? I said, make sure you get your numbers in. This draw is for 25 bottles of Major Vapes juice from CEV store. So, don't miss out.
Well, see, that means a lot to me, Struckers, because I know you know your batteries, and I know you know your devices.
Mm-hmm. And Ricky, yes, you are eligible. CEV store will ship to the United States.
See, 0.85, or like 3.85 drop off on 0.7, that's a really good number. That's doing better than the Chi-U is. The Chi-U, well, I haven't tested at 0.7. I tested Chi-U at 0.54, and I was dropping to 3.68, 3.69. So that's right in the ballpark.
Has everyone got their numbers in? They're starting to get really scattered in the chat. If anybody's still lagging, get your number in.
shit, let me adjust this here. Nobody can see the number. 37 is the result.
Okay. Ricky G's has a 37, and it looks to me like he's the only one. It's harder to see in this client because the chat jumps around every time someone posts. So I'm just making sure I haven't missed anybody.
Looks like Savvy wants to give away more juice. Let it be more than one.
No, we have 137, and that's Ricky G's 1961. Congratulations, Ricky. And and none of my automated stuff will work tonight because we are not in IRC. So I'm going to put an email address in the chat for you. That's win@cevstore.com. Ricky G's. Oh, okay. He wants to piff.
No, you pick somebody, Rick. That's just the way it goes.
Joe.
Don't give it to Sabby. Sabby's the one giving the stuff away.
Making trouble, Joe. Who's the newest vapor in the room? Not to tell you where to piff, but sometimes that's a nice place to start. Oh, he's chosen somebody? Hayes W? I will never say no, but you spoil me.
Choice.
Yeah, okay. Well, Hayes, then I'm going to put the address in one more time for you. win@cevstore.com. Give him your screen name that you use here, your real name, your shipping information, and your NIC level, please. This is, I think, the flavors are chosen for you because it's a 25 bottle sampler, but just mention that it was the 25 bottles from Friday night.
Vaping alcohol just doesn't satisfy. It's like vaping chocolate. Yeah, it might take care of one or two urges, but it doesn't satisfy.
And thank you for that piff, Ricky. I'm sure Hazel will enjoy that. Oh, you're close enough to stop in. That makes it really easy.
I would normally say that, I am swimming in juice, but let me show you something here. And I got to do something about this tomorrow morning. But there's my last mixed bottle of Vader Pudding. And there's my last mixed bottle of Sugar Cookie.
Oh no. Oh, the horror.
And there's my backup bottle of Vader Pudding.
Oh, seeing that nearly empty sugar cookie bottle, I think you probably just made KP cry.
Oh, but I can make more. But I didn't make it to the post office to send anything out this week. But there does happen to be a bottle of sugar cookies sitting here, just for KP.
Oh, there you go, KP. Cheer up. Oh, no worries, Ricky G. DSV Corey is our resident juice connoisseur / recipe maker extraordinaire. He's got an incredible juice line.
Yeah, I don't need juice from anybody. You know, my daily vapes are all ones I produce and put out there for everybody else as well. Now that said, they're not the only things I vape. Like I really enjoy Werther's from Maple Leaf Vapes as well as Sithgar. I think Ian and Marie did a wonderful job on both those juices. Sabby's Butter Rum is phenomenal. Fringlish is a very, very nice juice. It's refreshing, great palate cleanser. Carmelo Bacco from Jugheads, another all-time favorite. Yeah, Werther's like the candy. Oh, I love Carmelo Bacco Kingpin. I just love that stuff. And I totally understand why nobody else does, but man, I love that stuff. I'm surprised that juice hasn't cost me more friends, though. It always amazed me that my absolute favorite juice, everyone else hates. But yet, the juices I produce are fairly popular. So I gotta try to figure out what's wrong with my taste buds. What am I tasting that others aren't in that juice? And you know, why is it so bloody addictive for me?
That's really cool, Hayes. I'm sure it'll all go to very good use.
100 days have made me older since the last time that I saw your pretty face. 1,000 lives have made me colder, and I don't think I can look.
Now, for the month of September, one of my originals, one of the first ones I produced commercially, is on special all month. And this month it is Extreme Pistachio Pudding from Maple Leaf Vapes. It is on for, I believe, $13.99 a 30 ml for the entire month of September.
Yep. I'm just gonna grab the link for them.
But it's a nice blend, and if you're a fan of eating pistachio pudding or pistachio ice cream, I'm pretty sure this vape is going to be a home run for you.
It is really, truly awesome. I love this stuff. There we go. We actually featured that earlier this week on Vapor Joe's, so that's the link I've given you. Vapor Joe's Canada, I should say. Yeah, I know what you mean, Rich. I mean, I don't mind pistachio pudding at all, but the vape is even better than the pudding, I think.
See, I love the pudding. A huge fan of the ice cream. But let's face it, I'm a huge fan of almost any ice cream. So it's no stretch that I would like pistachio ice cream. But I had bought so many bad pistachio vapes that I sat down and put the time in and made one that I thought was good. And then put it out, and the feedback was good, so we went live with it at Maple Leaf. And it's been a really solid performer.
And yes, I'm just catching up on chat. Yes, Solo is sweet, and it's so nice to see you here, Solo. We've missed you lately. I know you guys are busy.
What to vape next? We're having a serious first world vape problem. I didn't clean my desk.
Can't decide.
Which means I got way too much shit up here. And, yeah. See, I drilled out my RSST, Max. I drilled it out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll show you the wick hole here.
Me too.
I use a cordless drill. I just use a 18-volt cordless drill right on my my keyboard tray on my desk. I just spin it slow and drill right through. I would start and just step it up. I would step it up size by size until you find your happy place. Right now I'm at 330 seconds on this one.
And I don't have tiny little bits like that, so I actually use a very subtly tapered diamond bit for my Dremel. And then it's just a matter of how far I go, how big the hole gets. But Max, one little bit of advice, go a little bit at a time. You can always take more metal out. It's hard to put it back. So, you know, take a little out, see what you think. Mine's 2 millimeters.
I don't have a step bit small enough for this. My step bits are all way too big. Yeah, start less, start smaller than 330 seconds. And just go up gently, you know, size by size. The 3/32 seems to be my happy place in almost all air holes. You know, some devices I will go to 1/8 inch on them, but it's pretty rare for me to go to an 1/8 inch air hole. .32 gauge at 0.7 of an ohm, that'd be like 2 wraps. You know, honestly, on the e-vic, I would try building like a 1.8 ohm coil and then running it at 11 watts and see what you get out of it there. Yeah, because like I run 26 gauge on most Jennies, and I do 4 wraps and get 0.65 to 0.7 ohm.
Maxley, do you mean 1.7 on an e-vic? Because I didn't think an e-vic would fire anything that low.
And I honestly can't say if the e-vic will or won't. I gave mine away, and I never did try pushing it.
Well, let's see. I've got an e-vic here, and I just put that T2 to 0.8 last night, so let's see what it does.
Now, that said, with electronic devices, every once in a while you'll get one that doesn't behave like the rest.
Does its own thing?
Well, and see, like I haven't kept up with the e-vics. You know, I gave mine away so quickly after I got it that I brought it in, I tested it, I played with it for 2 weeks, and I gave it away. So I really don't have any knowledge. Yeah, it can be a firmware difference. All I know is if it's working for you, more power to you. You know, personally, and this is just me talking here, if you're going to vape rebuildables, I would really suggest a mechanical. And then you really get the benefits of the sub-ohm. But you are going to be extremely surprised. You go 0.7 at 11 watts to 0.7 on a straight... Yeah, my threads are great on my Astro. There's the Astro right there. Threads are great on it. We throw an Addy on here.
Yeah, you're loving that Yvonne, eh, Mr. White Cloud? Oh, Vapor Kitty, don't be afraid of mechanicals. Do your due diligence. Make sure that if you are using rebuildables on mechanicals, you know what kind of power you're pulling. You need to have an ohms. I'm going to get you a link to an ohms calculator, okay? It's an Ohm's law calculator using any two of the stats available, such as your resistance and volts available. It'll tell you what you're pulling in terms of amps. You want to know what you're doing in that respect. You want to know what your numbers are, but there's nothing to be scared of. Just make sure you're using good quality batteries that have an output that can easily exceed what you're pulling from them, and you're good. There's nothing to be scared of. It's a great vape, and yeah, no problem. Here is a link. That link will give you an ohms calculator. And you'll want to look for...
I made the mistake of grabbing an atomizer that has 20 milligram fluid in it. I'm not doing that again this week. That shit just about killed me last week. You know, I love fluid, but 20 milligram, that's just too strong for me anymore.
Have to send you some color. Bastard, I'm not aware currently of anyone with the ohm meters in stock. They're practically a unicorn themselves. And yes, D-Vapor, you can get ohm calculator apps for your Android devices, for your BlackBerry as well. I'm sure Apple has something like that. So hunt on your... where you download apps. Yes, Max Lane, they do have a kit. I think even the kit is out of stock right now, but I might be mistaken on that one.
Yeah, the kit just produces this right here. I wish these were available everywhere, because these are a wonderful tool. And they're a nice base to build on top of.
Oh, Plazzy. I am so glad you brought that up. Plazzy has just mentioned, Corey, having the gray panties in the Chi-U clone. It wasn't getting a good connection. They've now put the battery in upside down, and it works great. Do you want to address that? You've got the Chi-U there, I don't, and I'm aware that the gray panties can be a problem in the Chi.
Okay.
In the Chi-U clones. So.
Let me pull it out here. Now, I don't have any contact issues, but the gray panties, because they have no wrapper on the bottom, they do cause some problems. They can short circuit on the clone or on the real one. So what I do right out of the box is I throw an O-ring in there, just in and around the button. And so the battery now sits on top of that O-ring instead of on top of the switch itself. Now with this one, I've had no contact problems. I did talk to somebody last Sunday that was having troubles with theirs, and I didn't have any advice for them because I hadn't even seen one yet. But this one so far has been working just fine. Give me a sec, we'll measure it. I just grabbed it out of a random set.
And there is another fix. Now, the O-ring is just a good idea anyway. There's those who felt that should have been in there in the first place. But I'll show you another thing I've been doing with the gray panties, and that is removing that gray jacket altogether and rewrapping them. Now this one's a little shy. You can rewrap them even a little deeper than this. But you see what I've done there? And the rewrap covers some of the bottom. I could have even left a little more. But that'll keep that battery. You can use those gray panties in there, and then you have no fear of them shorting out.
Now, the O-ring that I put in there
do not want that.
Is a 2.5 millimeter by 16 millimeter O-ring.
I'm gonna put those specs right in the chat.
And I just took it right out of a master rebuild kit for my paintball gear.
Now, is the 16 millimeter your outside diameter,
outside
Corey?
diameter.
Okay.
And that's not just for the clones, that's for the real Chi-Yu as well.
Okay. Then nix the word clone in my post, folks. That'll work in all of them.
And yes, Max, that'll work perfectly fine to set up a multimeter that way.
Down all the years, down all the days.
Now, I've never had a stainless Chi-Yu, so I can't compare this stainless clone to a real one I've got sitting here, but I've got a brass one. Well, I have two brass ones, but only one here. And the fit and finish, it's very similar. It has the top adjustable, pin, same as the original does. So, all in all, it's a very close facsimile. But I'm not having any contact issues. I tighten down the switch itself because they always tend to ship loose. So I tighten that center screw on the switch as tight as I can go, and make sure that I've adjusted the top pin enough that the battery's in there snug, and it fires every time I press the button. Yes, Solo?
Alrighty.
Zeppelin, really? You're gonna do that to me?
Now, do you know offhand, Corey, if there is a significant difference between the fast tech version of the Chi-Yu clone and the one that's coming from e-cig, or are they possibly the same animal?
I don't know. I don't have an e-cig one.
Okay.
And I really don't know the difference. I do know that Kriegs has one, so I've got to be able to spend some time with Kriegs and compare them and see what the difference is. And so, it is what it is. I have to say that this clone is way better than the pictures showed it. Like, way better than the pictures showed it. And the first ones that were available did not have an adjustable center pin. And this has an adjustable center pin. Not only is it adjustable to your atomizer, to be able to flush mount your atomizer, but it's also adjustable down into the device to tighten up your battery tolerances.
But what is and what should never be?
And Stash is completely right about the kick. The kick is just from a different time. And you know, it does serve a purpose. You know, there's a lot of people out there that like vaping, you know, tanks or whatever, and they like a very set voltage, and it takes any of the difference in cardos. Like a cardo can be plus or minus 0.3 of an ohm without any issue, and the kick just you know, levels the playing field. Now, I hated mine, and I gave it away very quickly, but let's face it, it did 10 watts, and I'm never happy at 10 watts. But it did test very well. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It worked every time. As long as the contacts were clean, it always worked. And so I can't fault the device for not doing what I wanted it to do.
And it comes down to style of vaping. When you're talking about a mechanical, same here. I see, you know, I'm using a rebuildable on top of it. But, you know, vapers like Joe, for example, enjoy the look and quality of a mechanical, but vaping cardos. So he loves, he kicks everything he can.
Yeah, and as long as you're not smoking, you're doing it right. You know, in all honesty. You know, to me, the only thing that I would say someone's doing it wrong is if they're having to stack batteries in a mechanical device. I don't see the point. I do not see the point in stacking batteries in a mechanical. I think we've gone past that with rebuildables and how available variable power is now. That the days of stacking 18350s or 16340s are just, they're over. That said, there are some old timers out there that are very used to vaping a 2.5 ohm on stacked 18350s. They love it. It's what they have been doing for 2 years, and for them that is the right decision. It's just not something that I choose to teach. I've taken my Astro to work a few times now. In all reality, everything that I own at one point in time or another will end up going to work with me. Whether it's because it's got the juice I want in it, or I just want to show it off. And I have to agree with you, Wayne. The Kanger Cardos, if you pull the filler out of them, is one of the best atomizers you will ever lay your hands on. They are an absolutely amazing atomizer if you get the guts out of them. There's pretty much always a Poldiac with a K-Fun on top of it in my pocket at work. The only time it's not in my pocket is when it's in my hand. I think last week was the first time I didn't take a Poldiac to work with me all week, and that's because I was testing the EA clone with the K-Fun on it during the week. Yeah, I don't have a 134 yet, but from all reports, it's a little heavy to be dropping on your foot. That's definitely getting up there in weight for a device.
Yeah. 3/4 of a pound.
Now, was that with a tank and a battery? I'm gonna pull out a scale here.
Have a good night, Don.
Let's try a fully loaded brass Chi-Yu. So, brass Chi-Yu with a Nimbus on top of it and a Panasonic battery in it is 8.43 of an ounce. Now let me throw a tank on here. Now this is a custom-made mechanical. It's brass and aluminum. It was made for me by JR Custom Turning. And it's in the same style as what the 134 is, though I've had this far longer than the 134 has been out. And this one is 12.69 of an ounce. So weight-wise, it's right in the ballpark with the 134. But this is a fully mechanical. It runs on a 14670. Yeah, and Big, I don't even know if you want to hear how much some of us go through. You know, if I got to throw a number out there as an average, it's going to be 25. 25 mils a day is going to be the average. Some days are only 10, some days are 40 plus.
Oh, wow.
Six or eight. It all depends on what my mood is, but it's always 6 or 8. Right now, 24 milligram Nick would kill me.
Yeah. Eve SMV, my vapeversary is October 1st, so just a little under a month now. And in some respects it's funny, we talk about time in the vaping community. It's like every year here is like dog years, it's like 7 years in real life, but because that's what it feels like. On one hand, I can't believe a year has gone by so fast, and on the other hand, it's like I feel like I've been doing this way longer than that, so... And the 6th for you, bastard.
And see, I get my throat hit through the heat and the power, not through, directly through the nicotine. I like the heat. I like how thick the vapor is, so I had to drop my nic to be able to up my power. It's what works for me. And it's one of those, it's each to their own, and you find your happy place and you stay there. But yeah, direct lung hits, always. And just enjoy your new healthier choice, and the friends that you gain because of it, and the extra years we're all starting to believe we're going to see. Well, see, I think the thing about lung hits is you need to have a big air hole in your device to be able to lung hit. Yeah. Like, I can't lung hit a disposable, or like a Joytech 510 Addy or a Cardo. I can't do it. It just tears my throat up.
Not only your throat, but it always makes me feel like my lungs are collapsing because they just don't have enough draw to let you draw that breath. It feels like trying to breathe through a needle hole.
Now, big air hole, mechanical, low res, direct lung hit on quality juice, and you're laughing all day long. I started on a shitty 808 kit, one automatic battery, one mechanical, pre-filled Cardos of disgusting liquid, and how far things have gone since then.
Money beats soul every time. Come on. Money.
Okay, I've had enough of that radio station.
Every time.
Deep inside your soul, there's a hole you don't want to see. Every single day, what you say makes no sense to me. Even though I try, I can't get my head around you.
Oh, Plaz, 32 milligrams. That would make my head spin.
Oh, wow. That would just be the end of me, right there. Now, if I threw it in a Cardo,
yeah.
I might be able to vape it, because my stealth juice is 24 milligram, 100% PG. And I run that on a Mad Vape's variable voltage box mod at, 5 watts, or 5 volts on like a 1.7 ohm coil. And I can handle that. But that's the upper limits of what I can take.
Plaz, if it got you to quit smoking that day, it's a win.
See, I wasn't smart enough to keep any of my starter gear. I gave it all away.
My family's still going strong. Got it for Christmas last year.
Well, I went through 808 kit, and then a couple of 510 kits, then Ego pass-through, and then a whole pile of different Egos, and a lava tube, and then a Buzz Pro, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. And then I got into custom 26650 variable voltage devices, and that really was the end of any sense of normalcy happening. And somewhere in the midst of there, I got shiny-itis.
And Big Dunk, that's pretty much a variant of the Peter K method you're talking about. If you want to go one step better, go to Walmart, get yourself a crochet hook the right size for the RSST hole. I'm sorry, I don't know what that size is. I can tell you what fits the AGAT2, but the RSST is a little bit different. The crochet hooks are so awesome. They're smooth, easy to build on, a little firmer. They won't grab, you know, like the stake skewer can be a little grabby coming in and out of the coil.
Now, Kingpin,
Yeah, and these are cheap.
how is your collection my fault? You know, I love you, brother, but we've never met. I've never twisted your arm behind your back. You know, I'm a pretty big boy, but I don't even know if I could twist your arm behind your back. It's a sickness,
Well, let's
baby. It really
see.
is.
It's been a long time since I built this one. I think it's 4 wraps, but I'm mistaken. It's 3. This particular build is only 3 wraps on the RSST. And I don't remember what wire I used. It looks like maybe 29 gauge. I know it comes in about 1. Corey would probably be knowledgeable enough to tell me exactly what I used. 3 wraps to come in at 1 ohm on the RSST. Does that sound about like 29 gauge? Yeah, okay.
On our way home from work
That's what
last
worked
night,
for me.
or I guess this morning, our way home from work this morning, we kind of blew the engine in our work car. Now, a group of 4 of us keep buying these carpool cars together because we've got an hour each way to commute. And so one of the other guys that works with us was just ahead of us, you know, saw us not continue, so stopped to give us a ride home. And so I gotta go pick up the next carpool vehicle tomorrow and get it brought home. But one of the guys in the carpool messaging me right now. He's already found a buyer for the one that's sitting dead on the side of the road.
And yes, Vapor, that's a mesh build. And Big Dunk, it depends how you wrap. Now, I've got my coils loose. There's airspace between the mesh and the coil. If you were to direct wrap or wrap right on the mesh, build it a little tighter than I did. You might even come in under that with 3 wraps. If I was rebuilding this today, I would use thicker wire and more wraps.
And as Kingpin said, there are aftermarket caps for the RSST as well as Igo L and many others. Unless I get one in a trade somewhere, I am not going to be going to buy one because they do cost more than the Jenny itself does. And I'm quite happy with what the Jenny does for me. And I have nicer ones that have the reduced cap. You know, I have a steam turbine sitting here. I've got the Mini B. I've got, you know, a collection of mini dids. I've got the AGT. There's lots of other devices with small air caps that I'm not going to go and spend $35 to $50 on an RSST cap. That said, if a person already has the RSST, they want to experience a reduced air capacity device, it is cheaper to go buy that cap than to go buy a steam turbine or something along those lines.
Yeah. What about just a replacement cap straight up? Because I think the concern... Oh, okay, no, he is saying something about a reduced chamber, but Joe Pym said he made the hole too big and just wants to close that up. Is there a fix for that, Corey?
There is. Now take this with a grain of salt. I've had to do it once when I was just first starting out. What I did was I cleaned the entire cap with... Kingpin's got it already. He just didn't wait for it. I cleaned the cap with alcohol. Then I put Scotch tape on the outside of the hole. From the inside, I filled it with JB Quick Weld. And as it was setting up, I pushed a syringe through the JB weld, which formed its hole and fixed it. It's not perfect, but it works. Definitely not the prettiest thing I've ever done. And I did end up throwing away the device and just replacing it, because it was only a $20 did clone. Night, D-Vapor.
Night, D-Vapor. Now, Joe Pims, before you give up on that cap, 5/64ths, isn't that big? What I'm wondering is, are you like, what? How do you draw on it? Are you using are you puffing and then inhaling, or are you using a direct lung inhale where you're just like breathing in through the atomizer? The larger holes are better suited for direct lung inhale. And if you haven't tried that, you might want to try it now that you've increased the airflow on that. You might find you might want to make it bigger and keep it and go with it.
Yeah, because mine's at 330 seconds. So mine's bigger than that already.
Yep.
And mine could be bigger yet. It could, the RSST could be bumped to 8-inch for me.
And Kingpin's right, it will take some time to get used to. The first time you try it, you might find yourself coughing and sputtering a little bit because it's a strange feeling.
Depends if that's the way you smoked or not.
See, I could never get enough draw through a cigarette to do that. I was a puffer. It wasn't until I started with the Jennies and you told me about, drilling out the air holes and using a direct lung that I tried that.
Yeah, see, I was a puffer as well. I never direct pulled on a cigarette. It was always a two-step. And one of the things, Joe, make sure that air hole is lined up perfectly with the wick. Make sure make sure that it's not, that the wick isn't laying over towards the cap and shorting out a little bit. That can cause you some problems as well. AK, I'm somewhere around 100 mods. They come and go so fast. I don't have an exact count anymore. I'll say 100, and it could be plus or minus 20. I buy them rapidly, and I give them away just about as fast as I buy them. So I think in my entire time vaping, I've traded maybe 3 and sold 3 or 4. Other than that, I've probably given away 80 mods in the last year. Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Bruno, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Solo. Not far at all. You have to forgive me, Wayne. At the moment, I'm not driving, and my son is so little still, and I don't really have a trusted sitter for him. Vape Meet's not a good place for a 2.5-year-old, especially mine. I'm actually too far out for the train.
If I had to deal with that craziness of that many people in that small area every day, I'd either be in the psycho ward or in jail. I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Well, closer to the coast, I hear what you're saying. That would get maddening. I'm a little farther out where it's not quite as nuts.
But see, Solo, you gotta understand. I'm a hick. We live in a town of 700, and that is roughly 695 too many. I grew up on a farmyard where there was mom and dad, me, my 3 siblings, across the yard, my grandma and grandpa had a house, and I had 2 great aunts that lived in the 3rd house on our farmyard. That is my upbringing. That was our community, and that was about perfect. You know, you couldn't ask for a better upbringing. You know, so we didn't plan. We didn't plan well enough. We didn't plan for enough time. And that's on us. Like, I should have taken more time off work and spent 2 weeks at the coast. Because there's so many things that we wanted to do. And we just fell down. You just couldn't get it all in.
Jeff, we've got to roll with the punches on the VTR. There was a delay, but watch for an announcement tomorrow on Vapor Joe's and vaporjoes.ca.
Well, there's no problem with work here. There's more work than there is people. We're in a serious boom right now, and we just can't get workers fast enough.
No, you won't need to mortgage your house, and that's all I can say right now.
Now, the VTR is a device I want to love, just for the convenience factor of it. Now, time will tell, but it's hard to go away from mechanical. It's really bloody hard to go away from mechanical.
Hey, you guys, there's only so much I can say so early. It's gonna be pretty cheap. Under $65.
And see, that's definitely the ballpark I like to play in. See, I want a bigger battery in my phone so it can charge my mod. I'd way rather have my phone go dead than my mod go dead.
Jeff, I don't even have the link yet. This one is gonna be right down to the minute. Are you on Twitter? Subscribe to Vapor Joe's and Vapor Joe's Canada on Twitter, and you'll know as soon as we know.
What about for those of us that aren't smart enough to get Twitter to work?
You, I'll text.
See, my problem with Twitter is I have a Twitter account. I can't remember the password. And the bigger problem is I no longer use the email account that it's tied to.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to sit down and make a new one. But I have too much shit to keep track of now already.
I know the feeling.
You know, I sucked it up. I got a smartphone so I could stay in touch and be more up to speed during the nights when I'm at work of what's going on. All I succeeded in doing was taking my little bit of spare time and shrinking it.
Yeah, exactly. There is no disconnecting now.
I think vaping's too big to go away. Like, they can legislate till they're blue in the face. It's just too big. It's way too broad. The people involved are from way too many walks of life. I don't see a way of this ever ending. Well, how much easier is your access, buddy? You Skype me, I ship sugar cookies. It's a pretty direct line.
And Solo, if you're on Facebook, you're probably getting everything. Yeah, there's lots of platforms used, but a lot of it is repetition to reach people where they are and where they like to get their messages and stuff like that.
You know, now that you say it, Wayne, I haven't seen D lately.
Yeah.
Looking back at me, I see that I never really got it right. I never stopped to think of you.
Well, adjust the top coil. Make sure it's not pulling too tight to the center post. Maybe loop it around the other side of the center post.
Yeah. Nice one, Plazzy.
Well, I don't have a turtle ship yet, and I kind of slept through getting one today. So I'm going to have to go back and check and see if they're still available or not.
And I'm just looking at it because I've never heard of it.
No, so I do not own a steampunk. When we did the raffle to get the PC for Tiger, Switcher made me an offer that I couldn't refuse as a donation. So he ended up with my variable voltage steampunk to help with that cause. And then when we did the auction to help Smoke and Zai after they got flooded out, I might have got a little carried away, and on a whim I put my mini steampunk up for auction, and it now resides at KP's. And you know, they were beautiful and I loved them, but at the end of the day, they were only a device, and in doing so it helped friends out when they needed help, and that means far more to me than any device I'll ever lay my hands on. Well, that atomizer is seriously going to need to be drilled out. Yeah, I have to say that the Valkyrie was a little rich for my blood. I did not get on the list for that one. Maybe if I hadn't gone so shop happy lately, I would have. But I'm on too many lists to drop that on a hybrid right now.
He wastes no time, decides something needs drilling out, and grabs the drill and does it. Oh no, his screen's not frozen. He's just busy getting the perfect airflow.
Keep holding on when my brain's ticking like a bomb. Guess the black dogs have come again to get me. Sweet bitter words, unlike nothing I have heard. Sing along, mockingbird, you don't affect me.
I like that, Ricky. Well, I don't know, Plazzy. There is a lot of speculation about what's going to be the next big thing. One of the things that vision casters are talking about is a way of vaping that doesn't rely on coils or wick the way we know it. Something totally revolutionary. Another pie in the sky idea, and I cannot personally figure out how this works, but I'm not the visionary, is something that'll give you variable resistance. Now, you know, aside from removing or adding a wrap or using different wire, I don't know how you adjust resistance, so this is all very, very visionary kind of ideas to me, but we'll wait and see.
And see, I think I have a fairly good wrap on how you do, you know, variable ohms, variable resistance, and that is where you're going to be adjusting your ground point. So you're going to be lengthening or shortening your active coil by moving a ground point.
Okay.
Now, I could be thinking about something totally different than what the people that are designing this are thinking, but that's how my mind sees this being able to work.
Big Dunk, that's the best idea. It's if it's frustrating you, have a vape. Come back to it. It'll be there when you're ready. And yeah, KP, the 26700 mods, that's already happening. The Ham is one of the early ones. Still waiting for that to actually come out, but they've shown us prototype pictures and.
I'm just a step away, I'm just a breath away, losing my faith today. I am just a man, not superhuman. Someone save me from the hate. It's just another war, just another family torn. Just a step on the edge, just another day in the world we live. I need a hero to save me now. I need a hero.
I haven't heard of a DNA 40 yet personally. Have you, Corey?
I haven't heard it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not, you know, being talked about. if there is a 40 on the way, I have to own 1 or 6 of them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have to be on that very first purchase list.
Oh, Big Dunk, you're breaking my heart. ProVape has so few sales and they just had one over Labor Day. But wait for it. There'll probably be something later in the year. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Pravari is one of the purchases that I think every vapor needs to put out there at some point in time. They really are a great device. Thing is, even if the Pravari broke after the warranty, you can send it back in, and for $20 they'll throw a new board in it for you. Just email ProVape, and it's $20 plus shipping to have a new board put in it.
Good to know.
So even if you run out of warranty on the Pravari, there's still great support available for them. And when you send it in, you get the newest version of the board.
So it's an upgrade really at the same time.
Sabres are a solid device. Mine needs to go back in for a rebuild. I might have overworked it just a little bit. But Sir Lawrence is great. Once again, you send him an email and tell him what's up, and he just takes care of you. I've yet to hear a complaint about the service from Sir Lawrence Vapor Moon at all. We'll talk later, Kingpin. Well, Joe, I can honestly say I have heard of CalgaryVaping.ca. I've known about it now for at least 10 minutes, maybe 12.
Yep.
But other than that, I don't know a whole lot about the site yet. I'll check it out later. Well, see, that's a pretty novel concept to have to start a forum for newbies right when you're new into the community, and so the forum kind of grows as the individual grows in their own path of vaping.
Oh, Solo, I like that movie too.
Now, the winner for random statement of the night is Hayes.
Hayes W.
And that may be our first real food comment of the night.
I think it is, in fact. Now wait for it. You know what's going to happen next.
I'm not saying it.
Me neither. You know someone will. We've gone 2 hours and 38 minutes before someone said bacon. Thank you, Kingpin.
And I'd say with bacon being taken care of, our job here is done. We have come, we have chatted, we have vaped, we have conquered.
Indeed. Oh, Ricky. The country practically runs on it, if you believe what gets said in these shows.
Even Astro.
Hey, Astro. Pardon me.
Now, I will say up here, there's no such thing as Canadian bacon. That shit's called ham. Bacon is bacon. Ham is ham. The two shall never be combined. They go on opposite sides of my pancakes.
KP, I'm as Canadian as you are. Look on the bright side. You know, I'm leaving more bacon for the rest of you.
I can honestly say I've never seen any package in a supermarket that says Canadian bacon on it. You know, I've never seen a package of ham say Canadian bacon, ever.
Well, not never, Kingpin, but almost never.
But you know, that makes Tiger into, you know, damn near the perfect woman. You know, same as my better half. Amy hates bacon. But she cooks it for me.
I'll still cook it for you.
So I don't have to share. You know, what's better than that? Being served a plate of bacon and not having to share it. Oh, Solo, you would only do it once. I just have to say, you would only vape bacon once. That would totally depend on what time of the year, Ricky.
Indeed. Certainly not in January in Saskatchewan.
No. No, you definitely would not be catching people wearing Daisy Dukes in January. Now, June, July, August, September, yep, it's fucking hot. The other 8 months of the year, nope. Well, the whole thing about bacon, it became the running joke because I've done more than one show while eating bacon. It is my absolute favorite food, and I have vaped it on occasion as well. And it just became the running joke.
We don't have accents, Ricky. You do.
Well, that's my line. I don't have an accent. Everybody else just talks funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it could replace sex, but it definitely lessens the pain when you get told no. No, but here's a plate of bacon. Well, okay, you know. And, you know, if they were going to brand bacon, she said no. It would have to be thick sliced, apple smoked maple bacon, and it would have to be served semi-crisp with onions fried in the cracklings, served on light rye toast. I do see a fry pan in my future tonight. You know, we do this to ourselves every week. We do a late night show long after we've had our suppers. And then when we run out of content, we start talking about food. And then I sit here with my mouth watering and well, you know,
At
fuck
least...
it, yeah, you're all my friends, but the fat man needs to eat.
At least tonight, it didn't happen till the end of the show, so you haven't been suffering through it long. But we are coming to the end, and I want to let you all know we have a very special program starting tomorrow night. The last episode of True North Vaping aired last week. Tomorrow, tune in at 7 p.m. Pacific for Vape Night in Canada. It's a roundtable discussion with Corey, Cats123, Kriegs, Smoke Eater, and Zychick. And do you want to tell the folks a little more about it?
Well, it's a Canadian-centric, all things vape show. We will go everywhere from starter kits to ultra high-end rebuildables, disposables, and juice. Tons and tons and tons of juice. What's good, what's not, why, you know, where the deals are in the gourmet end of things. Price points, value points, so on and so forth. It's not just for Canadians, but since we all are Canadian, it's definitely Canadian-centric.
And that all starts Vape Night in Canada, 7 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. That'll run for 3 hours. At 10 p.m. Pacific, tune in for Done Deal. 90 minutes of the greatest deals and steals in vaping from the week. We'll be missing Vapor Joe tomorrow. He's got a New Jersey vape meet, so it'll just be me by my lonesome. So come keep me company and we'll have some fun.
And with that, I think it's time to say goodnight.
It's time to go cook bacon.
It is.
Alrighty.
So thank you one and all for coming and sharing your evening with us. We are here every Friday night. And everyone is always welcome to drop in for a vape and a laugh amongst friends.
You betcha.
And now I gotta go find the missing screws. I sent Ricardo on a pile of parts, and obviously I didn't send him the screws he needed for the box. So now I gotta go search through all my fucking vape gear and find a little tiny bag of screws that I misplaced. This one could end badly.
Alrighty. We'll see you all tomorrow.